Yo. UGOBOY podcast. You see this face. You see that face. Sports Talk, baby. Episode 41. Let's get to it, baby. Yahtzee. Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag. I need more. Hey, 3P Jordan. Whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam. Yo. Mars, give me the drops. Drop me up.
Savage.
Marvin.
Yes. We can just do this for an hour and a half.
Let's see all in an hour, everybody.
Even the sound music, even the sound music is in there. It's your boy! You go, boy! Woo! Yes, get Ric Flair woo. Yes. It's your boy, you go, boy. You see this face. You see that face. It's time for some sports talk. Give me the new drop. I said what I said. Give it to me.
I said what I said.
Yes. So we got marvelous Perdomo on the boards as always. Again, we're live from Bravery Studios in Garfield, lovely Garfield, New Jersey. Sports talk. It's sports talk. So much to talk about. That's Mongo, by the way. That's Mongo.
Hey, everybody.
Himself. The band is back together. Can I get a Kevin Nash? The band is back together. It is. It's coming. It's there somewhere. We'll keep it moving.
It's back together. Yes, we are, baby.
Bear with me. Marv's got to find all the drops, but he'll always find them. He always does. Even if they're not there, he finds them. So, Mongo, sports talk.
All right.
That logo's there. It's on the shirts. It's on the merch. Grab the merch.
You go, boy.
And before we start, round of applause for all the subscribers and followers on all the channels. Love you guys. The pod is officially blown up. It'll turn 2 on June 9th.
Oh, all right.
Oh yeah. But this is episode 41. This is Sports Talk. How you been, man?
I'm doing great.
Sweet. Yanks are hot. We got Aaron Judge in the building.
Part of why I'm doing great.
Yep. Trunks is here, from Dragon Ball Z.
All right. Special guest.
Yes, special guest. Rest in peace to the creator of Dragon Ball Z, of course. Love you, dog. Let's get right to it, man. Yankees. Historic start. Best start since 1992, I believe. By the time this airs, I think opening day will happen, but we're 7 games in when this airs. We swept the Houston Astros.
That was nice. That felt good.
Thank you. Nice touch there. The savage there. One more savage.
Savage.
Appreciate it. And we took 2 out of 3 from the Arizona Diamondbacks in dramatic fashion. Yanks are a lot better. It's just 7 games sample size, but no Cole, no Martian, no DJ LeMahieu at the top of the lineup. And the Yanks are off to a really good start. What do you guys say about that?
We have Oswaldo Cabrera, and they don't. That's the bottom line. No, this is what you want, right? You get those contributions from guys when you least expect them. And normally for the Yankees, it takes months to find that magic. So it's nice to see it happening early, and it's nice to see it happen against 7 games that really you shouldn't go 6-1 in a vacuum. Right. That's a perennial contender and the team that just won the NL, right? So that's you need these wins. These are great because inevitably you'll get swept by the Tigers at some point or something of that nature. Who are also off to a weirdly good start.
Yeah, and the Pirates.
Pirates as well. There's a lot of oddity around the league right now, but it's everything you could dream for if you're a Yankee fan. You got 1 home run from Judge, other than LeMahieu. No one's gotten hurt during the process.
Yeah, that's good.
On the negative side, it's also what you would expect, right? The bullpen still gives me agita. Stanton still looks like he's getting weaker by the second.
Facts.
And so while I will certainly take it, other than the fact that Cabrera showed up and chose violence, there's not a whole lot, to take from it necessarily. Just enjoy the ride, Yankee fans, which How often do we get to say that as Yankee fans, right? We're supposed to just be mad all the time.
That's from the 2009 parade, by the way.
Nice. Nice find.
Thank you.
That's a great pull right there.
That's what I do.
It's the last time we were happy.
Exactly. Dom DeMarco. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Yeah, it was the last time we were happy before therapy started. But yeah, I mean, listen, Juan Soto. Round of applause for Juan Soto. Round of applause for Juan Soto.
Ooh, that arm.
Goodness gracious.
That arm.
Give me 2 CM Punks. Give me 2 CM Punks, por favor.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
And give me a said what I said. I said what I said.
I said what I said.
Love you, Nene. She's lovely, by the way. But yeah, listen, we begged and pleaded on our knees for Ohtani before Homeland Security evaded, or Soto. We got Soto. And he gets the G word. He gets the generational word. All right. He deserves it. He deserves it. Unbelievable start to the season. As advertised. You knew you were going to get great at-bats. You knew you were going to get a dog. Like, who let the dogs out is going to be played at Yankee Stadium more times than none. Take it back to 2000 World Series like that. Well, Baja men will be in attendance. But this guy is just, he's one of the top 3 overall players in baseball right now, hands down. It's really Mookie Betts, Soto, Ohtani, or Judge, in whatever order. You know what I mean? Yeah. Interchangeable, I would say. So top 4. And he's in our lineup, and if he stays healthy and he continues to do what he's been doing, just setting the tone and really changing the temperature of the team. Like, we have taken on his persona, and really, Verdugo, round of applause for Verdugo. You know, he's not really hitting right now. He had a big hit against the Diamondbacks to help us, win that series. But when he gets to Yankee Stadium with that short porch, his swing is tailor-made for Yankee Stadium.
For sure.
I'm so happy he's not with Boston anymore. He loved killing us in key at-bats. But, Verdugo and Soto, those 2 acquisitions, they're just so big for us right now. How do you feel about those 2 guys?
So I said back in the winter, Verdugo, to me, his biggest, although obviously that's a cannon of an arm out there, but his biggest...
Give me some cannons. Give me some cannons.
Cannon.
His biggest contribution is he's got the clutch gene. There's no stat necessarily to prove that. You alluded to it, right? You can just watch enough Red Sox games last year and go, why is this dude always in the right spot?
Dom DeMarco.
And so, you may have to wait. You may have to wait until it's 5-5 against the Royals in June or something, but he'll get his moment to contribute. I've always thought WAR and MVP are both really misleading names for things because if you interpret them in a dictionary, they're not what we've made them.
Yeah.
But Soto is those things. He is literally above his replacement, and he is literally adding value because they don't win that first game without his arm.
No.
I mean, he literally has done more to save games for them than the bullpen has. And so, you look at this outfield, you look at this infield too, even without LeMahieu, Cabrera can hold his own over there. Where are you getting cheap runs against this team? Where is the crack in the defense? It's just, it's not there. The defense is there. Boone takes a lot of slack, but the coaching is there. They are about as smart of a team as you're going to find right now.
Right.
You're going to have to earn your wins against the Yankees, and that's not something that's been said in quite a while. For many years, it's been if you can just outslug them, you will beat them. They are a smart-looking team all of a sudden, and it's those guys you mentioned, setting the tone in the corners of the outfield that make it really, really hard to do anything against this team.
Oh, yeah. Give me some Yahtzees. Give me some
Yahtzee.
Give me some Yahtzees.
Yahtzee.
and some Dom DeMarcos, too. Like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Dom DeMarco. There it is.
There we go. I love you, Bailey. Good luck this weekend at the I was about to say Rumble, at Mania, night 1 or night 2, whatever she's going on. But yeah, got to talk about Volpe. He's off to a great start.
I'll take that.
You can tell that second-year jump is happening. Mm-hmm. He looks smarter at the plate. He looks more disciplined at the plate. He's not trying to pull everything. He's using his natural power to right center, a la Derek Jeter. You know what I mean? So, round of applause for Volpe. I love the fact that, again, Judge isn't even hitting yet.
Yeah.
Judge hasn't even arrived yet. He hit a home run in the finale, finally, and he hasn't even gotten hot yet. Again, Cole, he optimistically in the summer he's going to show back up, but he's not even there yet. You know what I mean?
you thought coming in, a lot of people thought coming in, including us, that we're going to be led by our stars. We're going to be led by Judge. We're going to be led by Cole. And we called the Soto thing.
Right.
No-brainer right there.
Pretty easy.
But it's like you said, it's the other guys as well. And Baja Men, who let the dogs out? Like, the dogs are here. The guys are balling. So, so round of applause for the Yankees. Off to a great start. And first place, we'll see how long it lasts, but first place in the AL East.
I mean, when you look at who they're surrounded by at the top, because I'm going to talk about the bottom later on.
Go for it.
When you look at the top, I mean, they're 1-0 loss teams, which I know this early in the season is a weird categorization, but let's just do it for the exercise here. The other 0-1 loss teams are the Pirates, the Tigers, and the Brewers. I mean, not the best company to be.
That's true.
It doesn't. It's easy to look at the records of those around them and go, "This means nothing." Red Sox and Met fans, I'm sure you're screaming, listening to this, going, "It's been a week, you jerks." But again, it's the way that they are winning. It is the use of, the Luis Heels of the world and the Oswaldo Cabreras of the world, who, by the way, might as well just start wearing a Luis Sojo jersey. Doesn't he give you the most Luis Sojo vibes
He does.
you've ever felt in the last 30 years?
You've been on the Luis Heel train.
The man doesn't lose. Just look at his baseball card. The man doesn't lose. He's not great, but he wins. He finds a way. You want to talk about dogs? The dude finds a way, and he'll find a way this year. And I'm so glad he's up. That's a great addition for them.
Pumping in 100 miles per hour too.
Yeah.
Listen, I'd love for him to just stay as a staple in the rotation. Pitching is always our Achilles heels, especially late in the year and into the playoffs. So the more pitching, the merrier. And again, we don't even have Cole yet.
No,
I keep saying
better.
that. So it's only going to get better. So one more time, round of applause and a Dom DeMarco for the Yankees. Love you, Judge. He'll start hitting, my man. Come on. We're paying you $500 bazillion. And Soto's contract's coming too. So, Hatchman signed Soto. But yeah, I mean, let's look around to Dodgers. Got to talk about Ohtani Rose. Goodness gracious, give me a savage there. The Dodgers off to a 7-2 start, as advertised. I mentioned this on BTV Sports, now streaming on all digital platforms, wherever you get your podcast with my man Jason Enrique.
Love you, Jay.
I feel like it's going to be Padres, Dodgers, and even Diamondbacks, dare I say. It's not going to be – it's not – I'm still going to pick the Dodgers because, on paper, you have to.
Right.
They've got Betts and Freeman and Ohtani and, I think is Kershaw still on the roster?
I think. I don't even know, but I think so. There's no way they have the legal number of guys.
No.
Doesn't it feel like the Dodgers are carrying 60 humans?
Yeah.
I have no idea how they're
Yomo
doing
too.
this.
They got freaking Otani's brother, Yomo.
They just traded for Yankee Nick Ramirez, right? They just throw him in the back. No one will notice.
Exactly.
It's
but
wild.
real quick, the NL West, I believe it is going to be a slugfest. I believe the Dodgers, they just too much firepower. They'll be standing by about 3 to 4 games when it's all said and done. But don't be shocked if they send 3, maybe even 4 teams to the tournament.
It's
very
possible.
The West, how competitive is the West going to be with the other teams, particularly the Diamondbacks, the reigning NL champs, and the Padres?
I'm gonna stop you right there because you can't sleep on the Giants. What the Giants have done is each of their guys in that rotation, especially by adding, by getting Kyle Harrison for a full year.
And Blake Snell late.
And Blake Snell too.
Yeah.
But their original 4 guys each contribute a different main number 1 offering. They're not all fireballers. They're not all sliders. They each have their own specialty. And they're a really, really hard team to sweep in a series because you'll run into something you don't hit well.
Right.
They're the kind of team that will just take 2 out of 3. Even 1 out of 3 against the Dodgers, they won't go on many losing streaks, and that's going to be important, for the slugfest you're alluding to.
Yeah.
So I got to include them in there. With the Padres, I think it's the opposite. Bats do tend to run hot and run cold. There will come a time where they all go into a funk and they're relying on just a bunch of young former Yankee castoffs to get them through.
That's a savage.
We just sent them for Soto. So if I was kind of taking over-unders, I tend to think the Giants are being undersold and the Padres are being oversold a bit. The Diamondbacks should be and this I can't prove this, just use your eyes through history. There should be a little bit of a sophomore regression there. Young teams that tend to get hot and make runs tend to take a step back the following year. Especially because other than the 12 games they get in Colorado, there's nothing easy this year, right. And they're the hunted this year, right? We've talked about this before. For sure. When you're the hunter versus the hunted, if you can't switch that flip mentally, that's tough. And so I think Arizona is in for a rude awakening. I think San Diego will have their losing streaks. I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco ends up 2 when all is said and done in this division. It'll be close, though, amongst the 4. I'm with you. The Dodgers do end up taking it. There's just, you talk about San Francisco being able to offer a lot of, pitches. Well, the Dodgers have something for everything. They literally are built to have an answer for everything. And so I think they'll be able to get through it. But the other teams have reasons to be concerned, for sure.
Yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, I mean, the Padres are going to be led by their hitting. If Bogarts gets hot and Tatis gets hot, stays healthy, stays off the suspension list.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice too. Darvish, if he gets hot, they're going to be led by their stars, but they've got enough star power, and it's going to come down to health. I feel like their managing they're in a better situation with that this year as well. They missed the playoffs last year, so they want to get that taste out of their mouth, and they feel like they can hang and bang with the Dodgers. That little series in Korea, they went blow for blow with them, and so I hope they play in the playoffs. Like I'm sign me up for that.
I'd be okay if they just decided, what, NL, you guys are going to play a 4-team tournament. Winner gets to play the Braves, and that's the playoffs this year. Just don't let the NL Central touch anything, and we'll be fine. I got to talk about Ohtani though, real quick.
Got to.
The situation there, and I really think the question to ask an expert, which you may get to in the future. Spoiler. Be on the lookout. Really, how a collective? How did we? And I'll explain that pronoun in a minute. How did we let this happen?
Right.
When you look at, it's got a little bit of a catch me if you can vibe to it, where he just lied about everything. How was nobody fact-checking, but how does he not have a single enemy from childhood who wasn't like, I'm just going to blow this guy's cover. I'm just going to call the Dodgers and be like, you have a schmuck over there. Like, fire this guy.
Give me a said what I said. Give me a said what I said.
I said what I said.
It's crazy. And I get that there's the whole Japanese respect your elders culture. So Ohtani was just given this older guy and said, I have to keep him. But once he became a Dodger, once he became an Angel, really, how did nobody on the American side say, we don't care about your culture, this is a business, and that guy's criminal? It's crazy that it got this far, more than anything.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I remember we were talking with, I think it was my man Rick H, on the OBTV Sports. Can you imagine if this happened with Ohtani being a Yankee? First and foremost, there's no press conference. You think Cashman and Steinbrenner are going to let this man get in front of a mic and talk about stuff that's related to the IRS and Homeland Security and freaking ATF?
Steinbrenner's private eye would have been the one who caught it in the first place, right? Right? You assume all Yankees are wired at all times.
Yeah, exactly. The Ray Donovan of the Yankees is not allowing the DEA or Homeland Security to get to allow a guy to speak on behalf, because his press conference did not help his cause at all from a PR standpoint. It's the Dodgers get a thumbs down for that. How do you let this man speak with a matter that's being investigated by the freaking CIA, FBI, NSA? Just insert NCIS.
Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods.
Criminal Minds was there.
The Shield, The Wire. Everyone's like trying to bust this case wide open from a national standpoint, and you let this man get in front of a microphone? Shame on you guys. So they dropped the ball there. No way that happens if he was a Yankee. No way.
Now, fortunately, though, everyone's favorite clown, how this guy hasn't been clown of the week with you and Jay yet is beyond me, but Rob Manfred to the rescue, as he always is.
Big bozo energy. Big bozo energy.
I don't know if you saw the quote here. He basically said, it's hard. The feds are doing their own thing, so it's going to be hard to collaborate with them. So we're just going to go ahead and do our own thing, is effectively what he said, which is really, to me, that's code for we're just never going to hear about this again. That reeked of we're just going to sweep it under the rug. And bravo to the MLB if they take that approach. At least they're committed. At least they're consistent. We're just going to hide everything. But yeah, it has huge Manfred's going to eat this one vibes. I think we might be done hearing about this.
There might be a settlement in the weeds that we don't know about behind closed doors. But anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep it moving. We got to get to let's wrap free agency, NFL, because the draft is upon us. Give me a CM Punk.
Tell me when I'm telling lies,
baby, because it's coming. The free agency frenzy. You gotta. Let's start with the biggest news, the biggest hot button right now. Stephon Diggs is a Houston Texan.
Yeah.
And we talked about this toward the end of last year through the Hunger Games playoffs. Houston's coming.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and CJ Stroud is going again. Look, where's my camera? CJ Stroud is what Trevor Lawrence thinks he is, and what ESPN and Fox claim that he is. Tell me when I'm telling lies. I mean, like,
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
That's just what it is. So. They're building around him since he's on his rookie contract. They bring in Diggs to already go with Tank Dell coming off of ACL, but Nico Collins is there. Dalton Schultz is there. They get Joe Mixon. They got Danielle Hunter on defense. Outstanding draft class last year with Will Anderson. You know they're going to knock it out the park. Again, they've kind of figured out what to do with DeMeco Ryans. Round of applause for DeMeco Ryans. As well as Nick Caserio, not a huge fan, but the GM, he's killing it. He gets his round of applause too. But the Texans, you want to know what all-in looks like? Jerry Jones? You want to know what it looks like? It looks like what Houston's doing.
Yeah.
You know, just give me a said what I said. Love you, Nene.
I said what I said.
So how big of a ripple effect is this Diggs acquisition for the Texans in the hierarchy in the AFC?
Math sucks sometimes. As a math teacher, math sucks. And they were 3. They're still 3. You know, unfortunately, the way that it works, you know, they're not going anywhere. They were going to win that division with or without this move.
AFC South is world beaters.
They were locked into the top 4, you know, regardless. It is very nice to have somebody with playoff experience, because the one thing that is not amongst, you know, those guys you just mentioned is, you know, you can say all you want about who Stroud is and who Stroud's going to be. He still only has 1 year of NFL experience. You know, he only has 1 run through the playoffs.
Mixon's the most proven, grizzled playoff vet there.
And with Diggs' history emotionally, Joe Mixon is getting criminally underrated.
That's facts.
That's facts. What he's going to do for that locker room, and he's going to, and you're going to look back and say that was the move that turned out to be even more important, because to me, Nico Collins is going to get kind of Mike Evans type vibes in terms of his role. Just go to the end zone, we'll find you. Tank Dell's going to be the highlight reel. So Diggs is going to get lost, and he's going to be unhappy about it, and he's going to shake up that locker room. Like you can bank on him being as much trouble as he is good, but you're absolutely right. Houston doesn't care. They are in it for until they have to pay Stroud, and they're aware of what they've possibly done here. It definitely, the East is now wide open.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
there's a real chance that Buffalo wins it.
Yeah,
and having the guy who knows Josh Allen about as well as anybody in your locker room is pretty darn invaluable. And so if you end up with a Texans-Bills second-round matchup in the playoffs, that has some great value. And you know, I think if most fantasy owners immediately said, uh-oh, when this happened, and I think you're right. But if you're out there saying this is going to do something magical, you know, to Steph Diggs from a you know, stat standpoint, no, he's regressing. I mean, he's going backwards being there.
He's not going to be force-fed like he was with Buffalo. I don't think so, because Stroud isn't wired that way. You know, his comp was Rain Dakota Prescott for a reason. He just finds the open guy. If it's Schultz 10 times, I'm going to throw it to Schultz 10 times. If it's Nico Collins 10 times, I'm going to throw it too. I'm not going to force feed. Now, granted, Sedarian Lamb went off this year because they finally unlocked, McCarthy and Schottenheimer unlocked how to use him, a la how he was at OU. But still, that's not the way Dak Prescott has been wired for his career. You know, he throws to the open man, and Stroud does the same thing. So I don't think it's going to be a situation as it was with Buffalo where he's going to get 15 targets a game. I don't think their offense is set up that way. I don't think DeMeco Ryans wants to do that.
Right, nor does it need to be. I mean, for a couple of years now, it's been Steph Diggs and Field up in Buffalo, right? You know, Dalton Schultz, with all due respect to Dawson Knox, Schultz is a more reliable tight end. Mixon is a more reliable running back than anything they had in Buffalo. Tank Dell is now arguably the best number 3 receiver in the league. That's true. He's definitely better. I can't even name the 3rd receiver for the Bills last year. So, you know, he's in a much better offense where he doesn't need to be fed, and you're absolutely right. He won't be fed anyway, but there's no need. I mean, Mixon has way more reliable hands than a lot of running backs. Schultz is a great outlet, like you alluded to, and, you know, they don't want to get Stroud hurt. So they're not going to let the 4th, 5th read develop because he's going to get killed. I mean, it's a good offensive line, but no one can wait that long. If Mixon gets open out of the backfield, he's getting the ball. If Schultz is open, he's getting the ball. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how Diggs deals with that emotionally. I think that's the real question.
Absolutely. I mean, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I mean, he's a malcontent. Like, like I love him. Lord knows I love his brother. Even what he does with Dallas. You know what I mean? But again, like we saw that we called this. I said what I said. Give me a nay. I said what I said.
I said what I said.
Love you, girl. We said this. This is what has happened in Minnesota. Yeah. Like I'm gonna make a bunch of cryptic tweets. I'm gonna complain to my agent and to the front office, get me out of here. They got him out of here. He did the same thing, a string of cryptic tweets, complain to my agent, complain to front office, get him out of there. It'll run its course, you know what I mean? Because he's not going to get another extension in Houston. I'd be shocked if that happened because they got to pay Stroud eventually. Exactly. So yeah, we'll see how long it lasts.
But with that being said, those social media videos like I'm a teacher. That means I'm a wrestler. That means like
exactly.
they like the
of course
like the stereotypes attached to their job. Right. Of course Well, I'm a wide receiver. Of course I'm a diva, right? That's just what they what they do, right?
10 savages, savage away.
Savage.
And in a way, you want that. Like if Antonio Brown had shown up and was a reformed, he had found God or something, and he was reformed. I'd have been like, well, that's a bust. That's a waste of, if for a bunch of these guys, that's part of their edge, right? When T.O. is not complaining, you're like,
yeah,
is he just tired? What's going on?
Yeah.
So in a way, Houston knows what they're getting, and they know that that's when Stefon Diggs is at his best, when he wants to be, the best, when he wants to have all the social ills that are attached to being a top receiver in this league. And so it comes with the territory, unfortunately, Houston. You're going to have to deal with it, and in a way, almost you're going to want it.
Yeah. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're about at the halfway point, and I think it's about that time for a pipe bomb. All right. Where you at, Phil? Where you at, Phil? It's about that time for a pipe bomb. WrestleMania season's here, you know what I mean? So, but it's about that time. So, where do I begin? I have to begin with America's team. How can I not? How can I not?
The ink dry on that long snapper's new contract yet?
Oh my God!
That's about all. That's about all you got.
And it's funny. On the same, literally 5 minutes after, 5 minutes after the Diggs trade was announced, we announced that we were re-signing Chuma Edoga.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I was worried. About Chuma.
The man who single-handedly lost the Miami Dolphins game for us. Former Jet.
I blocked that out of my memory.
But yeah, it's pipe bomb season, and Lord, gotta talk about the boys. We called this out on YoPTV Sports, now streaming on all digital platforms, and I did as well as on YouTube Shorts across the platforms, that the all-in was, as the kids call, cap. All right? Like, all in on signing, hopefully all in on re-signing all our stars.
Right.
And I believe that's honestly what I took from it. Like, yes, you're going to re-sign Darian Lamb, first of his name. You're going to re-sign Micah Parsons probably next season. I don't think it happens this year. It's just the baseball number. They got to wait for the cap to go up another couple ticks. And hopefully you would like to think re-signing your starting quarterback, because you don't want to be in quarterback limbo. No. And I love stats. So I've got to pull this one up. Like I've been sitting on this one. Everyone who claims that, move off of Dak. You can, Colin Clownherd, big clown energy over at Faux Sports. He was just like, they should move off of Dak and go draft a guy. Of course you could draft a guy. And I was like, really?
Yeah,
is that
of
the
course.
case?
Of course you can.
So how about, let's look at the 2022 NFL draft class.
Okay.
Let's take a little peek back into memory lane. Kenny Pickett was in that draft class.
Whoops.
Who was traded. Desmond Ridder was in that draft class.
Whoops.
Who was traded. Malik Willis is in that draft class. He's headed for the XFL. Mark my words. Matt Carroll is in the UFL/XFL currently. He was in that draft class. Bailey Zappi was in that draft class as well. And Sam Howell, who was just traded, he was in that draft class.
I don't even know what a Matt Carroll is. I got to be honest. You literally found a name I don't even know.
I think he's in Carolina. Yeah, he's in Carolina for sure. And let's take it back. Let's take it back another tick. How about the 2021 draft class?
Oh boy,
how about that one?
Here we go.
Trevor Lawrence, Mr. Generational. You know we love that word.
Great hair though.
Great hair. The wannabe CJ Stroud. He's still there, but one of my favorites, and one of your favorites as well. Zach Wilson was in that draft class. Who's soon to be traded. Trey Lance was in that draft class.
Your boy.
Currently
Your
on the
boy
Dallas
Trey
Cowboys.
Lance.
Justin Fields was in that draft class, and Mac Jones, future Hall of Famer, dubbed generational by Colin Clownherd, was in that draft class. So this notion, Colin, that you can just move off of Dak. Of course you could find a quarterback. It's BS. It's complete and utter dribble. It's nonsense, rubbish, poppycock, whatever. Insert British euphemism. You see what I'm saying? Like, you cannot just go out and be like, yeah, just find another quarterback. I just named you 2 full draft classes of bust upon bust upon bust upon bust upon bust upon bust upon bust and overrated. So you re-sign Dak Prescott because let me tell you something. If you don't re-sign him, I still remember life after Troy Aikman. I still remember the Chad Hutchinsons of the world, the Quincy Carters of the world, the Drew Hensons of the world, the Ryan Leafs of the world, the Tony Banks and Randall Cunningham and Clint Sterners of the world. I still remember what life looked like for 6 years, damn near a decade after Troy Aikman. No way in the world do you want to sign up for that. Dak needs to get his extension, and then the spotlight goes on Mr. Mike McCarthy, who only wants to win 1 playoff game in 4 years. You know what I mean? Spotlight goes on him. You do not go play the quarterback lottery, because even this current draft class, you know what I mean? A draft super show loading. That'll be the next time you see us. Like, again, everyone's touting Caleb Williams and Bo Nix and Michael Penix, who I still love, and just insert quarterback Drake Mays of the world, Daniels of the world. Again, everyone's touting these quarterbacks. They do this every single year. The generational word, it is a hot button, hot topic for sure. But trust me, when you have a top 10 to top 12 quarterback, you sign him and you keep rolling it out and you try to win with him, because to play the lottery, that's not where it's at, and that's not what it is. I said what I said, and give me a CM Punk. Tell me
when I'm telling lies.
Yeah, on the other side of it, it's basic math, right? Just for those who have stuck with me long enough on this math train. If
Savage.
If 5 quarterbacks were good every year, and a quarterback, let's call a quarterback's lifespan 12 years, let's just say.
Right.
12 years of 5 quarterbacks being drafted would mean there would be 60 first-round good starting quarterbacks in the league at any given time. We know that's not true. There aren't even 32 good quarterbacks, right? So if 5 are coming out, you expect half of them to bust, and I get 2.5 people is not a reasonable number of people. So there's a real chance 3 of these guys could end up not being starters. I mean, you just picked a draft class where none of them were starters. You know, so
Lord.
It's to sit there and you're absolutely right, to sit there and say, well, there's a lot of first-rounders. It doesn't mean a whole lot. And, you know, well, you can look back, and I'm sure one of those junk guys you mentioned led the team to a 9-7 or something. You know,
probably in the South.
Mark Sanchez went to an AFC Championship game, right? I mean, it happens. Those aren't guys you fear, right? I mean,
No.
look back to my genius moment of the year when I told you guys, you're morons. One team has Patrick Mahomes, one team doesn't.
Right.
Keep betting on the Chiefs, and no one listened to me here. Come on, guys.
Tell me when I'm telling lies. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Just take that sentence and invert it, right? The same way that one team has Mahomes, so you have to respect them. One team has Quincy Carter, so you're naturally not going to respect them, right? You can be good, but that's not who the Cowboys are. That's not who most respectable teams. You know, the Arizona Cardinals. If you told a Cardinal fan right now, you guys are going to go 9-8 the next 7 straight years and make the playoffs in 3 of those years, they'd sign up for that, right?
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
certain
they would.
franchises that are just happy to float. The Cowboys are not one of those. They'd rather run the Super Bowl window as far as they can, and then go 2-15 for a couple years while they're figuring it out.
Yeah,
But don't humor the Cowboys by giving them a path that leads to mediocrity. They're not in it for that.
Yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to say what I've been saying, what both of us have been in lockstep saying. You let Dak Prescott walk in free agency. He becomes the most sought-after free agent quarterback since Peyton Manning. I keep saying that.
Yeah.
I said what I said. Love you. She's going to
what
be on
I
the show by the
said.
time we're done. Again, you let him walk in free agency. What is the alternative? And don't tell me Trey Lance, because more than likely, if you're letting Dak walk in free agency, the next coach that comes in is not married to Trey Lance.
No.
All the data, all the development, all the info, all the intel has been McCarthy's staff on Trey Lance. They're the ones caping for him to stay in the building. The new coach comes in, hopefully Bill Belichick or Mike Vrabel. They come in, they're going to be like, yeah, we want our guy. So, I mean, if you're going to move off of Dak, but more than likely, they're coming to take the job because Dak is here. Bill Belichick loves Dak Prescott. Mike Vrabel loves Dak Prescott. Again, they love this guy and feel like they can win with him. And a guy coming off an MVP caliber season, how he should be looked at as a prove it guy. What else does he have to prove? No, the playoff failures aside, again, if he walks in free agency, the Cowboys don't give him 55 to 60 million, someone will.
Yeah.
The Vikings will. The Steelers will. Someone is going to give him a contract. And again, you want proof? Kirk Cousins just cashed out. Okay, so tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
You want to play the game. You want to play the game of let your quarterback walk, let him flirt with others. He's going to swipe left, and you're going to be in a situation you were post Troy Aikman. I don't want to run that back. I have no interest in. I still have freaking Vietnam PTSD about life with Quincy Carter and the other guys for 6 years. No one wants that. So you pay your guy. And I believe they will. I believe this is a non-issue, really. I believe this is just ESPN and the Clown Take Hot Take shows and Dan Orlovsky saying move off of him and Colin Clownherd. They want clicks. We know this. It's draft season. They want clicks. On Full Sports alone, they mentioned Dak Prescott's name one day, I think earlier this week, 103 times across all their platforms. They mentioned Caitlin Clark 6 times. Oh, jeez. Caitlin Clark is in the NCAA tournament. She's in the Final Four. Dak Prescott hasn't picked up a football since what, January? Yeah. So again, he's a needle mover. But I get it, but you guys continue to play yourselves because the extension's coming. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
And the other thing, just to keep in mind, again, I'll play the math card here. There are some pretty obvious openings coming up, right? Aaron Rodgers is done after this year by all accounts.
Yes.
Daniel Jones is out after this year by all accounts.
Facts.
Matt Stafford's getting up there in age. He could be done sooner than later. There are going to be openings. It's there are certain times you look around the league and go, man, other than like 2 guys switching homes, there's really nowhere else you can go. Welcome to New York, buddy. Take your pick of which color you want to wear. Because if Dallas moves on from him, both teams in the city should be looking for an actual quarterback very soon, because Zach Wilson's not the answer. The Giants, by all counts, don't seem to be drafting the quarterback this year. And so there's going to be 2 new humans running these 2 teams in 2025. Sign me up. I'm not mad about it.
If Dak ends up with the Jets, we'll both have Prescott jerseys.
Oh, absolutely.
Because goodness gracious, like I know he's not going to the Giants. That dumpster fire. Hell no. Absolutely not.
We'll get one giant jersey where your side says press, mine says cut, and we just walk into the game in one
I like that right
matching
there.
shirt.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're coming down the home stretch, about 15, 20 to go. So we got to talk about what the Jets have done, and then we'll wrap with a draft preview and to bring it on home. Right. You guys have gotten Tyron Smith. You guys have gotten Mike Williams. You guys have traded for Hassan Reddick, Jersey native. You guys are, again, those 2 dreaded words. You got all in is a real thing. You can say for 2 teams right now. You can say it for the Texans. You can definitely say it for the Jets. You can say it for those guys because you guys are doing it. Do you feel like, with a healthy Rodgers, presidential candidate aside, do you feel like with Mr. Peyote, if he stays healthy with these moves and with a loading draft class as well, to go with last year's draft class, how do you feel about, let's take it like this, win total, and how do you feel right now as we sit here a couple weeks away from the draft about your Jets?
So I'll work through those questions kind of out of order, but I'll start with the easy one. Give me 12-5 for them.
You want to take the Cowboy recipe?
Give me,
awesome.
I'll take 12. I'll take 12-5, and that could be low, because I could see an easy path where they go 5-1 in the division. I could also see a path where they go 3-3. A lot has to do with if that Dolphin defense can gel or not with all the new pieces they got. How big of a loss does Christian Wilkins turn out to be? How well, we assume Josh Allen is bulletproof. Name somebody who was on Wyoming with him, and I'm sure we'll still see Josh Allen. But if it turns out that he needs talent around him, they could sweep. They could easily go 6-0 in the division. So that 12 is a little to be continued. But my answer to Jet fans who aren't happy at this point, my question is simply, what do you want then? Pick your favorite Jet cast-off this offseason, and they were replaced with an upgrade, right?
Yeah.
Becton and Dwayne Brown out, Moses and Tyron Smith in, that's an upgrade. Randall Cobb, by all accounts, out, just missing at this point, but by all accounts out, Mike Williams in. that is an upgrade.
Even when hurt or healthy, it's an upgrade. Yeah.
Go right down the list. Bryce Hall out as sort of that nickel fourth corner role. Isaiah Oliver who's also going to be one of the gunners taking over for Justin Hardy. Upgrade. Justin Hardy was a Pro Bowler, I get it, but Irv Charles looks like the real deal. At best, a tie there. But even Al Woods out. And Quentin Jefferson out. So, Javon Kinlaw in. Everyone, Bryce Huff out, right? Reddick in. Everyone is covered. Everyone is accountable for, and everyone is an upgrade. So, you got to be happy if you're a Jet fan because they did exactly what they needed to do. They looked at their areas of weakness. They looked at their free agents who they knew they couldn't afford, and they just went out and replaced them with better talent. I mean, it's an upgraded roster. And, I think especially the Dolphins lost some key pieces, especially on that defense, losing Howard and Wilkins. The Bills lose Diggs. New England is a disaster. And there's no reason not to believe that the Jets are the front runner in the AFC East right now.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, free agency is an arms race. We both have been saying that since the inception of this show. Mm-hmm. You use free agency to fortify your areas so that way you can draft purely. You're not drafting solely for need. Like, oh my God, I gotta take a left tackle, even though he's fourth on my chart right now, and three guys are ahead of him better. I'm gonna take the guy. Like, you don't window dress your board. Shout out to Brian Broaddus to the Dallas Cowboys. Like, you don't do that. And I feel like you guys have the freedom now to draft. However, you still need to get a quarterback. I'm not getting off of that at some point.
We're going 0-17 in 2025. I already told you this. We have no intention of living past this year. But I mean, even the 1-year contracts, for Smith and for Williams and whatnot, there is no after Rodgers, and that's okay. Jet fans, we talked about Cowboy fans want the excitement. There's no what's the point of just living in 8 and 9 mediocrity and drafting the third best outside linebacker, with the 17th pick like we did for a handful of years there, in the sort of late aughts, early 10s, right? It doesn't do you any good. Go for it. And if we have to stink for a couple years, listen, it's not like we're not used to that anyway. We're fine with that.
Savagery.
But if I can take what you were just saying there for a minute about drafting for need versus drafting, and we'll go quasi pipe bomb here. We won't get it.
Pipe bomb.
We won't get it totally heated up, but I need to talk about the Reddick trade for a minute from a different angle. And I'm going to particularly pick on the JetPress.com here in a minute. But first of all, let's just talk about the trade straight up because everyone's saying Huff out, Reddick in. Reddick played significantly more first and second down than Huff did. He was responsible for 17 more pressures on first and second down than Huff was. That's one extra, pressure per game effectively that you get by getting Hassan Reddick. You also get a guy who played way too many snaps for a way too depleted defense last year. He's not going to play as many snaps for the Eagles this year. For the Jets this year. And so that means that conditional third rounder you gave up is staying a third rounder. He's not playing the percentage needed.
He'll be rotation.
Right, to turn that into a second rounder.
Right.
Meanwhile, for Bryce Huff, Quinnen Williams was the third most double-teamed player in the league last year. So that meant Huff was always starting with a tertiary option across from him.
Right.
That's not happening in Philadelphia. You can guard that as good as Davis is, as good as some of those players are on the Eagle front line. You can guard them man-to-man.
Right.
And so Huff is going to have to create his own play way more often and be called upon to play way more. And I'm not saying he's a bust free agent. He's a good player. But thinking that Huff and Reddick are in any way synonymous with each other is just a mistake. Reddick is a way more complete player.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're coming in hot here on episode 41 of the U-Goboy podcast, live from Bravery Studios. Again, the all-in moniker. Like I mentioned, Cowboys are going all in on their guys, on their free agents, on Chuma Odoga.
Naturally. Why not?
And they're going all in on the draft.
Yeah.
But they do that every year. Mm-hmm. So that's why it just blew my mind when the hot take clown shows ran with that and pushed that narrative like Dallas isn't doing anything. I'm like, they're doing exactly what they always do. They go all in on a draft because Will McClay is one of the best in the world. A la CM Punk. Give me a CM Punk. You know what I mean? Like,
tell me when I'm telling lies.
He's one of the best in the world at drafts. Now, granted, last year's draft class, big question marks around him, mainly because of health. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to be better and step up. But take the Money in the Bank coming up soon with the WWE. He's not going to have back-to-back question mark drafts.
No.
I fully, unequivocally expect for him to knock it out of the ballpark like he always does, and for them to pick up bargain basement free agents as they always do, a la Zeke or Cooks to be a depth piece, running the football in short yardage, and as long as defensive pieces along the line, rotational guys, one technique here or there. But they're going to go all in on the draft. That's what they always do. Meanwhile, you guys have used free agency and for this all-in window, understanding that your quarterback, this is probably it for him. You know what I mean? Because he wants to be president of the Peyote. I mean, the United States of America. That being said, you guys are going all in with free agency and a combination of the draft. Cowboys are going all in with signing their own guys and the draft. It's just different ways of allocating resources.
Right. Which before we get to the draft, because we will end on that.
Yes.
You know, you mentioned these clown takes. I do need to talk about one clown take on the Jets side, if you don't mind for a second.
Go for it.
It's this clown take that the Reddick trade makes the Will McDonald pick a bust.
Yeah, I know that's foolish.
That's the JetPress.com is the latest one to do that. But it's been a lot of takes, and I just if we have either the flashback music or the X-Files music, I'll take it for a moment here. We need to do a quick case study. I'll be fast about this. The year is 2010. It's June 24th, 2010. The Miami Heat have 2 picks in the early second round, and they take one's listed as a center, but they're really power forwards. They take Dexter Pittman and they take Jarvis Vernado. And if on that second one you're saying who, yeah, you're absolutely right. These are 2 guys who average less than 5 points a game and played a combined less than 100 games. Add to that those 2 picks were adjacent to Lance Stevenson and Hassan Whiteside.
Right.
You'd have to admit mistakes were made, right?
Yes.
16 days later, Miami signs Chris Bosh. Those 2 power forwards are not mistake picks because they've signed Chris Bosh. Those 2 picks are mistakes because those 2 guys stunk.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with what happened. If Will
Dom
McDonald is going to be a bust, Will McDonald is going to be a bust. And we know that when he's about 28, 29, someone's going to sign him, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to not give a second contract to a former first-round pick. Someone's going to give him a 1-year contract, and we'll see what he's all about.
Prove it, deal.
And if he turns out to prove it, good on him. If it turns out he stinks, as a Jet fan, why would you even want him to be good if that's going to be the case? More relevant example, think of that Carmelo trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two of the 3 picks before Carmelo Anthony are both small forwards in Chandler and Gallinari. They both are moved in that trade. And part of the reason the Carmelo trade stings to Knicks fans is because he gives you 2 mediocre playoff runs in a handful of years. Gallinari's still playing, and both of those guys, Chandler ends up being a 12-5 pretty good player. Gallo's a 16-5 very, very good player. And it stings for Knicks fans because those guys ended up being something.
Yeah.
Why do you want Will McDonald to be something at this point? Either let him bust, if you believe that truly, if you're in on that narrative that this makes Will McDonald a bust, let him bust. If you think that he's going to be a player for them in a year or 2, then shut up.
Yeah.
But there's no way your narrative is correct. Because here's what your narrative should be. Here's what the headline should have been for the Reddick trade. Jets learned from their mistakes.
Yes.
Because like you said, they were so cocky in the 2023 draft that they were going to get an offensive tackle. They did not have a plan B. They were not ready to trade down for Anton Harrison. They did not even sniff that receiver class. And Will McDonald was a panic move.
Yeah.
Now, flash forward to this offseason. They already have the best defense in football. They don't need to do anything. They could just be cocky again. But they learned what happened in 2023 when they were cocky, and they said, we're not doing this year. There's a window for Hassan Reddick. We can get him here. We're taking him. We're upgrading. And so the Jets have learned their lesson. It is beautiful to see because this is a team that loves to double, triple, quadruple down into its own insanity.
Yeah.
And so I'm really, aside from it being good for football, I'm proud of the franchise on this move. I really am. And so to sit there and try and blame them for a mistake that's not even a mistake, and if it is, you want it to be at this point as a fan, it's dumb. It's a dumb take by all accounts.
Not to mention you get the comp pick when he does leave him free agency.
Yeah.
That's what always blows my mind when people complain about guys not getting a second chance. Now, granted, you don't want busts. That's not ideal.
No.
You don't want a guy in the first round to not get a second contract. You want those guys to get second and third contracts. But if it doesn't work out, you learn from it in the following season. You trade back. And then, again, you don't window dress your board. Once again, round of applause for Brian Broaddus. You don't do that. You take the best player available. If that best player available matches that need, win-win. But again, if you need to trade back to justify the value and still get the player that helps you right now versus a hope and a prayer, you do that.
Yep.
Teams that don't do that, they are consistently picking in the top 5 every single year. Tell me when I'm telling lies. You know what I mean? That's just what
Tell
it is.
me when I'm telling lies.
So we'll wrap here. We have to wrap with some rapid fire.
Yeah.
Can I get a Chris Tucker? Keep those Chris Tuckers going. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'll find it. There we go. Even when you don't, Marvin, even when you don't find it, I put it in post. So you're fine. You're good. One more Chris Tucker. One more Chris Tucker. Yes. Yes, this is what I know. This is what you want.
This is what I want.
I know this is what I want. This is what the guys on the screen want. This episode of Rapid Fire is brought to you by YoBTV Sports. Me and Jason Enrique. All that good stuff, as well as New York Posse. Grab yourself some New York Posse merch, wherever you get your merch at American Dream Mall, as well as Things Galore. Shout out to my big brother King, AI-inspired art, as well as Bravery Studios, of course, the home base. And of course, what lives here? I'll be at the world premiere. Marv will be at the world premiere, April 6th, Saturday. Big yacht. Give me some Bailey Yahtzees. Give me some Bailey Yahtzees. Love you, girl. So rapid fire. We're gonna go. We'll go on the spot. So we'll go back and forth. This is all NFL draft preview.
Okay, got it.
So
I'm ready.
We'll go as long as Marv keeps this before he throws us out the studio. All right. So let's ride. I'll tee it up for you.
Okay.
It's Caleb go number 1 overall to the Bears.
Yes. 100%. Lock it in.
All right, your turn.
Who goes number 2? I promise this isn't going to be 32 straight questions. I promise we're changing the pattern here eventually.
Drake May. Drake May.
I buy that.
I think they fall into the Drake May hype in Washington, as they should.
I know you don't like that, but
I'm for it. I love it.
That's true. You want that to happen, but
I do. Who's the first trade back?
I'll say the Cardinals.
Cardinals?
I'll say the Cardinals go back. I think Minnesota is trying to get up. I think it's more about Minnesota coming up, and I think they will get to the Cardinals. If not, it'll be the Giants. But I think it's more about how far can Minnesota get up is really the answer to that question.
I like that one. I like that one a lot. Your turn.
How many QBs go in the first round?
I say 5.
Okay. The whole gang.
The whole gang's all here.
All right.
Gang's all here.
I respect that.
Who drafts J.J. McCarthy?
The Vikings. I buy the hype. They're coming. That's who they're coming up
to get.
Which is crazy because they shouldn't have to. But that's the world we live in.
Give me 10
Savage.
I'm sorry. Love you, JJ.
Someone did a side-by-side of Zach Wilson and J.J. McCarthy out of the same person. It's like the Spider-Man meme. I can't get the image out of my face now. On my head now.
It's not wrong. So the quick sidebar. I have no collateral in my dynasty draft this year. I have no draft picks. I've traded them all away. I could not be happier. I'm terrified of this entire draft. So this can't be this obvious, right? There's just 1,000 wide receivers all over the place, quarterbacks galore. There's a trap. Something here is wrong. I don't know what it is, but it's not going to work out well for a lot of these first rounders. I can tell you already. What position do the Cowboys draft in with their first pick?
Offensive line, 100%. I think we go center or we go tackle.
All right.
Jackson Powers, I'm praying to the draft gods we get him, or the kid from Washington, Fatamu. Yeah, one of those guys, please.
Nice.
Please.
I'll buy that.
Who the Jets pick?
Man, they can literally do anything, can't they? I think they go wide receiver. I think they spoil. I will double down by saying I would like them to take Brock Bowers, take the ultimate cheat code pick.
Yeah.
But I do think at this point they are so all in, they don't even care that they're not going to have offensive tackles in 2025. They are here for this year and only this year.
It might take Rome Odunze. That'd be crazy.
I would love that. I love that kid.
Rome with Jabril Wilson?
Garrett
Wilson? Whew.
I love both wide receivers from Washington.
I do too.
If a team can find a way to bookend both of those guys, any team, that would be the win in the draft.
Facts.
Who is just your single favorite player in this draft? Doesn't necessarily have to be a high pick. Just who's your favorite player in this draft?
Oh man, there's a few of them, man. I'm gonna stick with the center. I love Jackson Powers.
All right.
I think Jackson Powers is the best center prospect I've seen on tape in quite some time. He's legit. Right behind him, probably Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. That's
a pull.
Yeah. Like Wisconsin.
Only get that take here.
Listen, man. Tell me when I'm telling lies. You know what I mean?
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Dom DeMarco too. Why not?
Dom DeMarco.
Yeah. I love Wisconsin backs. I know Dallas is going to pick one of those running backs, whether it's Allen, whether it's Trey Benson from Florida. I like him too. He's on that short list. And love me some Blake Corum. I love the backs. And the backs are very. And, if Brooks wasn't coming off of ACL, I'd love him too. But I don't like guys coming off ACL.
Yeah, that's dangerous. I'm with you.
Yeah. Who's the most overrated pick in this draft?
I'd pick your favorite of the. Honestly, it's probably whichever quarterback goes third. If someone somehow goes before Daniels, if it's not, it's whichever quarterback goes fourth. Which I think is the answer to either of those is JJ McCarthy. So I will go with him because he's the only one getting. He seems to be getting the most hype of the three.
Yes.
I don't know if I necessarily would even. Caleb Williams has the best shot of being. He'll be a day one starter.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd necessarily feel comfortable starting any of these six guys on day one. So it really comes down to which guy is going to be pushed in the fastest. And it just feels like, especially if he goes to the Vikings, McCarthy is going to be thrown in sooner than he should be. And so I think that's my tiebreaker to that question. But all six of these quarterbacks are overhyped to me, in my opinion.
He said all six for six. A little more savage. I love it.
Savage.
All right, your turn. We're going to wrap with a few more.
If all 32 GMs quit tomorrow and you could take over any job just based on position in this draft, effectively my question is, who do you think's in the best position in this draft?
Oh man, I'm gonna go Houston again. It has to be. I mean, they hit on their quarterback. Generational. Where's the music? They hit on the quarterback. They hit on the defensive end in Will Anderson. They've got the coach. They've got the culture. They got salary cap space. They've got their culture, and they figured out how to draft finally. Something that they didn't even really draft that well. It's just that they had Hopkins and Deshaun Watson before the scandal. You know, they had that going. They didn't even have the coach. Bill O'Brien wasn't that good of a coach, but they figured it all out. So they're in the best position, I feel like, in all aspects, draft-wise, GM-wise, free agent-wise. They figured it out. So I'd say Houston.
For sure. I was going to say, the Cardinals at 4 having the option of basically either the best player on the board who isn't a QB or trading out for someone to come in and take that fourth QB is a real nice spot to be. Right?
It is.
You'd be real tempted to take that job just for the haul you could get.
Agreed. All right. My turn, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Who's your best defensive prospect in this draft?
Oh, man. I genuinely don't know if I have an answer to that question. Other than I would say nobody, I'll answer it this way. There is nobody on the defensive side who I feel is being criminally over or underrated.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
If you could imagine a world where you could hit the auto draft button, for like fantasy style for this draft, if I didn't need a quarterback or a receiver, I would auto draft most of this, which is to go back to what you originally said about the Cowboys hitting in the draft.
Yeah.
If you're going for a quarterback in this draft, this does not apply to you. But assuming you are not, it is going to be. If you lose this draft, you deserve to be automatically fired.
Savage.
Everyone in this draft is going to go about 10 to 15 picks lower than they should.
Yeah.
Between the 5 QBs and all the wide receivers.
Mainly because of those three positions.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you are normally a number 15 linebacker, you could be taken at like 30.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be nearly impossible to mess up this draft if you do not need those positions. Can't wait to see how the Jets do it. Looking forward to it.
Savage. Last one, and then you bring it home. I think it's your turn.
Do you think any teams trade into the first round to get one of those quarterbacks? And if so, who's trading in?
I don't think anyone trades into the first round, so I don't think I think there'll be some trade ups though. Mm-hmm. I think someone's going to trade up to go get, like you say, a McCarthy, or believe it or not, a Penix, or Bo Nix. Especially if they slide to the back end of the first.
Right.
So it's possible someone like who picked already wants to get back in to get their guy, but I think it's way more likely someone who's already in who hasn't picked yet is coming up to grab their guy.
So you think those 5 guys are all going to go higher than based on that math?
I think they're all going to go. I really do. The only 2 who have question marks that will probably go early in the second are Penix and Bo Nix.
Okay.
Those are the only 2. The other guys, McCarthy, May, Caleb, did I say May already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, those 3 are locks.
Right. I agree.
Those
I
3
agree
are
with
locks.
that.
And so you're talking about, again, Penix and Nix. Those guys, I'm sorry, Daniels. I forgot about Daniels. So I think, let me rephrase it. Daniels, McCarthy, Caleb Williams,
and May.
Gotcha. Those 4
are locks.
Locks.
Gotcha.
Locks. The other two, they're not necessarily locks to go at the back end of the second, but they might. They're definitely locks to go in round 2.
Okay.
So that it's very possible. Very possible.
If you're saying though teams can trade up, could you imagine a world where those 6 all go in the top 20?
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
All right,
because all that does is push down the offensive linemen.
Right.
It pushes down wide receivers. It pushes down linebackers. Because again, Dallas, we've got to rebuild our linebacker room. We've already taken strides with that with Eric Kendricks, which we announced on the air, which was pretty cool. And this is a great linebacking class.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Wallace from Kentucky. You got Junior Colson from Michigan. You've got the Cooper kid from Texas A&M. Like you got Wilson from NC State. Like you've got. Can you tell I watch draft shows? Like you've got a ton of linebackers. Dallas desperately needs to remake that room because Leighton Vander Esch is retired, and Javon Curse doesn't play linebacker anymore, and thank God. And Marquise Bell doesn't play linebacker anymore, thank God. So
that was the Swiss Army knife of linebacker rooms, and it was fun to watch for a year. But as a Cowboy fan, you had to be miserable.
One fun in the playoffs because Aaron Jones is still running. He's still running,
like Forrest Gump,
exactly.
Forrest Gump in Alabama.
I'm tired now. I think I'll go home to Minnesota. But round of applause. That was rapid fire. If you want a preview of what the Super Draft Show is going to look like, you just saw it there. Give me some Bailey Yahtzees and give me some cannons. Give me some cannons. Give me some cannons. Cannon. And a couple Ric Flair moves. Some Ric Flair. We didn't have enough Rick. But yeah, so Mongo, where can the people find you? That camera right there.
So Twitter, we're at Mongo715. I also am on I-80 Sports doing basketball and baseball. I-80 Sports. Or you can just come be my friend live in person.
I love it. Let me tell you about my best friend. I don't know if Randy Newman made that, but he probably did. But you know the vibes. 2 YouTube channels. UGOBOY88, all music. UGOBOY Media, all podcasts. UGOBOY88 or UGOBOY Media, either one of those on all the platforms, u-goboy.com, IG, Facebook, TikTok, all that good stuff. We have got the Super Draft Show. The next time you see the 2 of us will be the Super Draft Show. And I can announce this because I love announcing stuff. Your boys with All Things Covered with Patrick Peterson and Brian McFadden. We've recorded about 4 or 5 episodes together. And there's more announcements to go. It's like Oprah today. Patrick Peterson is going to be on the show. Woo! Some Dom DeMarcos.
Whoa!
So that's coming in the coming weeks. Future Hall of Famer. Hopefully a future Cowboy. I'd love for the Cowboys to sign for depth purposes. But former Cardinal, former Viking, former Steeler. And more announcements. Brian McFadden's going to be on Yo BTV Sports. Yeah. He gave me the thumbs up with that. Woo! So you got 2 of the biggest names in sports media, 2 NFL superstars that are going to be gracing the Bravery world for sure. And let's keep the announcements coming. Adnan Virk is going to come on the show. He's going to be back to the show. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today, but he will be sooner rather than later. He's here in spirit.
We'll put him in.
Yeah,
right? In post.
Exactly, in post. I'll put his thumbnail in. But he'll be gracing he'll be returning like Judgment Day, Terminator 2. He'll be coming back to the You Go Boy podcast, and I'm gonna hold off. There's even more, believe it or not, but I'm gonna hold off right there. But You had fun, buddy?
I'm having a great time, and that was Christmas right there. That's a whole lot of news. Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we'll end it like this. This is Aaron Judge. That's the belt. That's the other belt. That's Mongo. It's your boy, U-Goboy. Woo. We love you guys. We will be back. See ya. Yahtzee.
Whoa. Hey, this a vibe, nigga. Whoa. Woo. Secure the bag. I need more. Hey, 3P Jordan. Whoa. Woo. I can't keep it on a low. This a whole vibe. I don't need a plug, no cosign. Thinking out loud, that's a gold mine. Mask on, yeah, COVID-19. Baby mama, yeah, looking like Rihanna. Rest in peace to George, rest in peace Brianna. Still kicking like Van Damme with my niggas in Amsterdam.
Yahtzee.